Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are so blessed to have you here in this beautiful sanctuary, in the peace of the fall days, the bush turning bright red. My name is Chris. I'm your chaplain today, and I'm so honored to be here with you all. So this morning I'm choosing to do a meditation on divine grace. So if you'd like to just settle in, get comfortable. As we go into meditation, breathe deeply. Allow your body to soften, your mind to be quiet, and your heart to open. Be aware of the presence of God. If God is here, then grace is here. It is the ever-present flow of divine goodness in your life. You do not have to chase it or earn it. You need only recognize it. Breathe in, and as you let go and exhale, release any resistance. Grace surrounds you. It lifts you. It is the gentle whisper that reminds you that you are always held, always loved, always guided. Breathe in, and as you do, feel yourself aligning with this truth. Grace moves through you. It is the nudge to forgive, the pull towards love, the invitation to step into your highest potential. Breathe in and speak softly to yourself. I am a conduit of grace. I allow grace to move through me. I trust in the ever-present goodness of God. Grace is within the nature of all things. So let's go into the silence and feel the embrace of grace. as we return from this silence, remember grace. Remember grace is always available, always there, always surrounding you. And as we remember this and go out, remember giving grace to everyone you meet so they can feel it and know that they are also under grace. So we thank you for being in the silence with us, because it is truly a blessed place to be. Thank you.
At this table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everyone is seen. At this table, everybody matters. No one falls between. At this table, you can say whatever. At this table, you can speak your mind. At this table, everything's forgiven. There's enough for everyone. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you could bring is your heart. So come as you are. At this table, there will be no judgment. At this table, mercy has a seat. At this table, we're all sons and daughters. There's no place I'd rather be. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you could bring is your heart. So come as you are. Yes, come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you could bring is your heart. So come as you are. Come as you are. At this table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everybody cares. At this table, everybody matters. So come pull up a chair. Good morning, welcome.
Morning, good morning. Thank you, Kelly. So beautiful. Really appreciate that. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jennifer Lovejoy. I'm really thrilled to be with you today. And in a little bit, I'm going to introduce our guest speaker. But in the meantime, this is our time to welcome and center and be here now. I was looking at the calendar and noticing that tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day, and I'm happy to announce that we have an Indigenous Heritage Committee here at Unity in Lynnwood. We had been doing quarterly events and kind of fell a little bit off track with that in recent months, but we are getting back on track now, and it's going to have some events, one of which I want to mention is coming right up, October 25th. It will be on the calendar later this week because it just happened. It's going to be a medicine circle with Sis Winclay here, which she's been here before. She's very popular, and we'd really encourage you to think about that and check out the calendar after Stacy's had a couple days. We're also going to be redoing our Medicine Wheel online workshop later in November. So what I love about the work of that committee is how much it aligns with our vision statement at Unity in Lynnwood. to celebrate and honor all life, which is really the teaching that so many of the indigenous cultures around the world brought to us. So let's just maybe take that in for a moment here as we start. If you're willing to close your eyes and settle in and take a deep breath. And we just turn to gratitude for all of the abundance that surrounds us, for the beautiful changing colors of the leaves, for the sky, for the ocean, for the animal life, the plant life, the stones and crystals, all of the abundance that this planet gifts us for free. We are so, so deeply blessed, and we honor that in our meditation. We honor that through our living, through our practical spirituality. And we give thanks for all those who today and through the millennia of history have honored that and taught us how to do so well. We are ever grateful. And so it is. Thank you. So, again, welcome, and this is Youth Sunday, so I am going to invite our youth in, and we have a song that Kelly will lead us in.
If you'd like to join us, please join us. The words will be on the screen. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your kindness. We see the light within you and cherish your presence. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your kindness. We see the light within you and cherish your presence. And so it is, and so it is in love.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Felicity Silvers, and I'm a part of the youth group here at Unity in Lynnwood. And I'm here to talk about a very fun event that we're having again, which is our craft fair. So we're having our autumn craft fair Saturday, November 8th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here in Unity in Lynnwood. This is a fun community event where local artists, crafters, and small business owners are showcasing their handmade goods and unique creations. It's a great chance to shop, connect, and support our youth group because all money earned from that event goes back to our youth group so we can do fun things. So if you're an artist or a crafter or if you know anyone who is, please tell them to sign up as a vendor for the event because we need more and your registration helps fund our youth programs. So please mark your calendar, bring all your friends if you're coming, and join us for a fun youth-led market day. And please like, share, and comment on our Facebook posts and go to the Facebook event on the Unity in Lynnwood page and mark if you're coming or not, because that helps share it to the greater community.
And on November 1st, we're going to have our Moving Up lock-in, where I will be one of the members of the youth moving up. So bring your high schoolers and talk to Grace.
Hi, I don't know what I'm saying, but I do. So we have a little haunted house hallway event thing going on here on October 25th? 8th. Guys, 28th. I'm tired. On October 28th, we have a little haunted house with some fun games outside and a little beginning time for younger kids to come trick or treat. So if you know any younger kids or teenagers, especially that might be interested in that, then it would be great if you could invite them to come, and it'll be a fun time. And we'll sell baked goods and have hot chocolate and apple cider, and it's going to be really awesome.
Thank you, Damien, for talking about our Haunted Hollow Fest. I wanted to give a shout out to our teens who last week got to speak at Interfaith Community Sanctuary down in Ballard. They did an amazing job. They did their whole service, and it was pretty epic to see all these teenagers come together and give such a heartfelt and warming talk. So come visit us in Friendship Hall after service. We've got some yummy spooky themed treats. And yeah. So please rise as you are able and bless our youth.
Yeah. All right, let's sing to them. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your kindness. We see the light within you and cherish your presence. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your kindness. We see the light within you, cherish your presence. And so it is, and so it is in love.
Well, she's too shy to say it, but that was Grace, our new Director of Youth and Family Ministries. So she's doing a fantastic job. And Noah co-wrote that song that we sing. So, yeah. All right, well, we'll take a few more moments to welcome. If you want to, are we doing the meet and greet now?
Yeah, we'll sing first and then we'll have a chance to say hello. So if you guys would like to join us.
Don't I have to do the mission statement right now?
Oh, yes.
We're winging this, people. So anyone in the back, if you see us doing something wrong, we're just like, shout out, go no. We do want to do our mission statement. And you can have a seat now. And actually, we're going to start with our core value, which is metaphysical teaching. We offer a metaphysical teaching which encourages regular spiritual practice, including prayer, meditation, affirmation, denial, service, and study. And I think we pretty clearly do that here. So our mission statement is very simple: practical spirituality and welcoming community, and hopefully you've already experienced the welcoming part of that. But we do have an invocation that we like to say every Sunday that grounds us in the sacredness of all we are. So would you say this with me, please? Though imaged and named variously, there is a singular and eternal ground of being, from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. And I would like to give a special welcome to our online guests at this time. Some of you may have put your names in the chat, and we've got 20 people watching online, including Colleen and Michael. Welcome. Tom from Edmonds, Dale and Lake Stevens, Dana, Elizabeth, and Nancy, and so many others. So to welcome our friends, if you would turn to this camera over here, and let's say, we welcome you. We welcome you. We believe the highest good for you. We believe the highest good for you. And we know you are an expression of the divine. And we know you are an expression of the divine. Thank you. And if you are new today, or newer, or maybe returning after having been here for a long time, we'd also like to give you a special welcome. And if you're willing to kind of raise your hand and give a wave so that we know you're here. And I want to introduce Jana, who was our ambassador today. And if anyone is new and would like a welcome packet, she will come find you after the service or now. Okay, so we have someone there in the back. Fantastic. So welcome. We are so glad that you're here. Thank you. Okay, and now it's time for the sing-along.
All right. Please join us in singing. We're going to do We Let the Love Wash Over Us. There'll be a couple of additional lyrics I'll call out, so it'll be easy to follow along. And let's go ahead and sing, and then we'll give you a moment to meet and greet and say hello this morning. All right, here we go. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let's let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. Let's let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let's let the peace one more time. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let's let the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. And if you'd like, please go ahead and say hello to your neighbor and say good morning. Maybe meet a new person today.
I'd like to invite you all to sit back down, even though I know we could continue this meet and greet for quite a while. Okay, my name is Sally West, and I'm happy to serve as a platform host today. And my purpose is to introduce a little of what Unity is about, to offer a short reading or prayer, and then I'll come back at the end to do announcements. In thinking this week about how to sum up what Unity in Lynnwood is about, I looked up the vision statement for Unity Worldwide Ministries. The vision is this: a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. This speaks to us in meaningful ways. We are about transformation here, allowing each individual the space, providing some inspiration and practices to leave behind past limitations and explore the potential of our human existence. We respect all cultures and religious traditions. We celebrate all family structures, genders, and sexual orientations, because we are all spiritual beings on our paths to awakening. Yet in community, we get to share our spiritual awakenings together to the extent that we wish. And in doing so, we raise each other up in greater awareness, all the better to transform our world. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And I don't know about you, but I do feel that this is a growing movement, not just in Unity, but worldwide. Many people are awakening to the need for an upgrade in consciousness. Individually, socially, and globally. This is what we are about here. So I'd like to share a little about the women's retreat last weekend, ending with a short prayer that it inspired in me. If you were here last Sunday, you may have noticed quite a few of us were absent. We were at our retreat on Whidbey Island. We came together in a place of great beauty, enjoying community, sharing spiritual practices, artistic creativity, a sunset on the beach under an almost full moon, and time in the woods. We talked about our relationships to nature, and many of us spoke about their connection to trees. Since then, I've been thinking about the majestic, tall evergreens we're blessed to live amongst here in Washington. As I stood at the base of a towering Douglas fir, I marveled at its height, with branches only starting over 100 feet above. As they grow, these trees naturally shed lower branches in the shade. They don't waste their energy on anything but their core trunk until they reach the light of the sky. And then they stretch out their branches in celebration of the sun. Let me be a Douglas fir, strong in my inner core amid the darkness and hubbub of the world. Not to withdraw from it, but to be a strong presence of life in the shadow. Let me send my energy to the light, receiving light's blessings through my crown, my branches, all the way down my trunk and into my roots. And those roots, they spread far and wide out, intersecting with the roots of other trees and the nutrients of the earth. We are individuals in our columnar being, but we are a community in our source, intertwined in ways we cannot even see. The trees around us are quiet teachers, models for enduring, interconnected existence. Let us calm the noise and listen. And so it is.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me, I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I go inside and I quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. So it is my pleasure to welcome our guest speaker today, Reverend Michael Bogar. Reverend Bogar is a longtime friend of Unity in Lynnwood. He actually precedes my time, and there's not a whole lot of people here who do. So we are very, very grateful to have him here with us. He is has a breadth of experience that you'll hear in his talk that I think is always very refreshing and profound. He has graduate degrees in Bible, theology, and Jungian mythology, or Jungian psychology and mythology. He's currently a part-time adjunct professor of world religions and teaches regularly at the Seattle Unity and Seattle Center for Spiritual Living. He also holds a weekly online Zoom class covering a variety of, in his words, often neglected and controversial topics regarding psycho-spiritual development. So check that out. I also want to mention before he comes up that he has offered to, right after service, if people have questions or thoughts from the service and want to get into a little deeper discussion, he'll be at one of the tables in the Friendship Hall, so you can go grab your coffee and a snack and then come to the table and have a deeper discussion about what you've heard. And we'll invite anyone to do that, and if the crowd gets too big, we'll move it back here in the sanctuary. So really appreciate your willingness to speak and also offering that to our community. So Reverend Bogar.
Thank you. After that introduction, you probably think I'm going to come with some sort of academic BS, and I'm not. 35 years ago now, I left an evangelical free church where I was the pastor, and left a seminary where I was an instructor, very young instructor, and went through a divorce and stuff like that. Anybody here have any such experiences? Okay, so at that time in 1990, I thought, what am I going to do about this church business? No longer wanted to be part of the evangelical movement. I didn't hate them. I have many gifts from them, but they just did not allow me to ask the questions I wanted to ask and pursue the ideas that I wanted to pursue. And I discovered the New Thought movement. And I sat down with the New Thought minister back in 1990, and I asked him, I said, what do you guys believe here? He said, we believe in what works. I said, that can't be true. That's crazy. He said, no. He said, and I said, you've got a list of beliefs up here on the wall, so you obviously have some beliefs. He said, these beliefs are conditional. He said, there's nothing on that list that we can't change if we find a higher truth than that belief on the wall. And I was hooked. He said, he didn't even know me. He said, why don't you come over here and teach a class? And I said, you don't even know me. He said, well, come over and teach a Bible class. I said, I hate the Bible. He said, that's okay. There's a lot of people here who hate the Bible. I have since come to love the Bible again, but I see it in a different way than I did before. Now, my point is, in 1990, I was looking for a church, and I went to, I think it was Mount Lake Terrace, and found what is now the Lynnwood Unity Church. Ann Thomas was the minister at that church. And I went in there in a state of brokenness. I had just lost my career. I was supposed to go up and teach at a university in Canada, an evangelical university. So my whole future was set, and it just disappeared. My marriage, my career, my occupation, everything disappeared. And I met Ann Thomas at that Unity Church, and we sat down and talked, and it immediately became a home. She listened to me. We had really, really good discussions, and she invited me in to speak and teach occasionally, and it became a home. And you all are the closest thing I have to a long-term spiritual family, and most of you I don't even know. So it's the community. Now, I have stayed with Unity because they have allowed me to ask the questions I want to ask. And over the last 35 years, I have come to one basic belief. And I want to share that basic belief with you this morning. And I want to start by quoting the end of a book by a guy named Henri Bergson. Anybody heard of this author before? It's interesting, you have. It's interesting because in the early 20th century, he was one of the top two philosophers in the world. He was French. He was very good friends with William James. And they were the two most influential philosophers in the world. The last book Bergson wrote was titled The Two Sources of Morality and Religion. The Two Sources of Morality and Religion. The very last words of his very last book, and a short time later he would pass away, this is the very end of this book, and this is my core belief that I have gained after these last 35 years. Are you ready? The essential function of the universe is a machine for the making of gods. Now, I'm going to read that again. The essential function of the universe is a machine for the making of gods. Now, what in the world is he saying here? I'm a participatory kind of guy, so somebody shout out, what do you think that means? Yes.
The function of the universe is for everyone to find their divine connection and be able to emanate that and focus that and be able to live their life and use the energy and the power of the connection in their life, which someone would refer to as godliness.
Okay. Do you believe that?
I think that's what Jesus was teaching us to do.
Okay.
Do that. I think that other religions sit there and promote the idea that you have energy and connection within, and the universe supports that.
Okay. Anyone else? When you hear that statement, the essential function of the universe is a machine for making gods. What do you hear? Someone else. Come on, don't be bashful. Yes, ma'am.
I don't believe it's so much making gods as us discovering that we are of God and to relate to the world and everything in it with that honor and that respect.
Okay, but the function of the universe is somehow to reveal a spiritual experience to us. I want to read this again and change one word because the one word is really closer to what I believe and what we find, by the way, in the New Testament. The essential function of the universe is a womb for the making of gods. The machine idea, the metaphor's okay, I get it. This was a very big time, the Industrial Revolution. Machines were all the rage. But I like the idea of something organic. That the universe itself is not a collection of molecules and galaxies and all kinds of stuff, that the universe itself is an organism. Think about that for a moment. This is a Platonic idea. This goes clear back to Plato, that the cosmos, the Greek word cosmos is order. It is an orderly, living creature that is moving in a direction with an intention. It is self-motivated. There's something going on, as in all living things, all living things, these flowers here, how did they begin? How did they begin? Seeds, obviously. Well, how in the world did that seed or those seeds come to look like these flowers? There's something in the universe organically that is moving everything in the universe to an end. An intentional end. The intention in every one of these flowers was in that seed, and it slowly moved to its form. Now, my belief is, and I'm allowed to hold this belief in unity so far, is that history itself is an organism. Now, what I want to talk about for the next few minutes, and forget the slides until I get to the one on Romans 8, so you don't have to go there yet, but I'm going to bag the whole slide thing. The whole talk this morning is around this idea that the function of the universe is a womb, and in that womb, gestating, every single one of us resides. Every single tree, every single galaxy, every single thing that exists in this universe is moving toward a goal. And every single thing that happens in this universe, how many things? Every single thing. You don't have to agree with me here. Just repeat after me to make me feel like I'm saying something. Every single thing in this universe, from this point of view, has a function or is in the function of coming to its divinity, whatever the heck that is. Its fulfillment. Its flowering. Now, there's two basic views in this world that most of us have adopted if we're involved with unity. The first view is the modern view of history. And the modern view of history basically teaches, whether you go to a university or a high school or whatever, teaches us that everything that happens in this universe is basically by random chance. Crap happens. And the crap gets recorded or remembered, and we put it down, and we historicize it, and then academics come along and they read the facts about events that have taken place over time, and then they theorize about the meaning of those events. But basically, history is a set of random acts that we try to make sense of. Do you understand that idea? That's the basic idea. Well, the second idea, the one that Bergson holds and that I hold, is that the universe is a living organism. It's not a set of random facts. It's not just stuff happening. There is a process, just as in these flowers. What happened to the flower seed when it was dropped into the ground? It went into the dark. It got covered up with dirt and fertilizer. It got stomped on probably a little bit to pack the dirt down. It got watered. And as it's in that black hole, let's imagine for a moment that this plant, this seed has consciousness. It's sitting in that dark hole and it's saying, what the going on? The guy that put me in here said I was going to be a beautiful pink flower. And here I am, covered in crap, in a hole, dying. And then what happens to the seed? It falls apart. Well, great. That's the way I felt in 1990. And that's the way everyone in this room has felt at various times. Yes? How many of you, no, I'm not going to ask it that way. I'm assuming some of you are falling apart at this very moment in different areas of your lives. Most of us are. The crap is hitting the fan somewhere, and you're sitting there in a state of grief or anger or sadness or some sort of emotion that is tearing you apart, but you've come here and you've kind of put those emotions aside and said, I'll come put up with this goofball that's going to talk to us today, and we'll get out of here and go home and feel sad again. What I'm suggesting is that even our sadness and our brokenness and our grief, and all those things that happen to us in this process of life, like the seed for this flower, is necessarily part of the function in the womb. And that there is nothing going on in this cosmos, if you hold this presupposition, that the entire cosmos is a womb that is gestating new life. And that gestating process includes not only the good, but the bad, and the ugly. Thank you, Clint Eastwood. So that's the supposition in this world view. It is truly unity. Now, oftentimes I found that some of our New Thought churches look at unity and say we're unified, but it's only the good stuff that we're unifying. That's okay. But I'm suggesting that this worldview that Bergson talks about, the function of this universe, is to take every single event that takes place individually, collectively, universally. Every single event, the good, the bad, and the ugly, every single piece of that experience is part of the gestating experience that brings us to fruition. Now, that is a powerful worldview when you're in the midst of chaos. I lost my son. I shared this with you a year ago. I lost my son to the war in Afghanistan, 2008. Got two guys knocking on the door from the military and telling me that my son had been shot and killed the day before. And I went into the deepest, darkest hole you can ever imagine. And I remember sitting on the edge of my bed that night, unable to sleep, and saying to the universe in my mind, what the hell? Why? Why did I lose this child? And then this voice I've heard over the years, it's not audible, but it was very clear, and it said, this is part of the process. And I said, F the process. Okay? That's legitimate in the process. I'm not encouraging you to do it. It's better to say, oh, I thank you, Lord, for all great losses. That's fine, cool, do that too. But even our Jobian, you familiar with the book of Job? Our Jobian experiences of spending 40-some chapters with our fists saying, why is this happening to me, is part of the process. Could I get the slide from Romans chapter 8? This idea, this view is found in the New Testament in the famous or infamous Apostle Paul. He has his fans and he has his detractors. But in this letter, Paul is saying the exact same thing I'm sharing with you right here. This is from the Message Bible, which is a paraphrase, but it's a beautiful translation. Here's how Paul is putting what I'm sharing with you. Put it up there. I'll read it from here. You can look up if you want. Paul says it like this. All around us, we observe a pregnant creation. See that image? What's pregnant? The entire creation. What's that involve? Everything. As far as we can see, billions of miles into the universe and billions upon billions of galaxies. Unimaginable is part of this creation, as much as every single human being that has walked this earth and everything that's happened in this little tiny planet. All of creation, we observe a pregnant creation. The difficult times of pain throughout the world are simply birth pangs. How many of you have had a baby? All right. I haven't. But I was married to someone else. and former life. And we had 3 children, and I watched her go through the pregnancy. And so I'm reporting what she reported to me. And that is, as the weeks and the months went by, she became more and more uncomfortable. And she would speak about it. She was not a complainer, but she would be, around the 6th month especially, it was like, this is horrible. This is terrible. I'm in so much discomfort. I can't find a place to get comfortable. That's what Paul's talking about. The difficult times of pain throughout the world are simply birth pangs. But Paul goes on, it's not only around us, that is, it's not only happening to the entire cosmos, he says it's happening within us. So 1990, my world falling apart. This analogy is that I was in the midst of giving birth. I'd lost a job, I'd lost a vocation, I'd lost a family, I'd lost pretty much everything that gave my life meaning. And I'm reading Paul to be saying, don't worry, Michael. You're in the process of giving birth to something new. I'm like, why? Don't know. It's just the way it works. Paul goes on, the Spirit of God is providentially arousing us within. We're also feeling the birth pangs. These sterile and barren bodies of ours, and the older you get, you will understand what Paul is saying there. These sterile and barren bodies of ours are yearning for full deliverance. What's he mean by full deliverance here? Want to give birth to this new thing. I want to see it come out and not be here anymore. I want the new birth. And many of us are living that right now, yes? How many of you feel like something's being born, but it's just not there yet? Paul goes on and says, that is why waiting does not diminish us any more than waiting diminishes a pregnant mother. How do you like waiting for that new birth of the next phase of your life? Anybody else in here impatient? I do a lot of remodeling, like building, remodeling stuff. And one of the things that builders will tell you is that you can lose a screw or a nail and it completely disappears when it hits the ground if you drop it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where the hell did that go? And if you have what I have, and my wife will testify to it, impatience, the first thing you say is, where the F did that thing go? It was right here on the ground. Paul is saying, if you can learn to wait in faith, you will see the new birth. Well, what about my son, 2008, killed at the age of 25? What are the implications there? Did nothing happen? Did he just go out of existence? No. He also, according to this, in this cosmic womb, was born into a new phase. Now, we call it life after death, right? Something like that. And I want to share, before I finish reading this, a little story. After his death, I went to do a meditation group, and I asked one of the people in the group if she would lead the meditation, because I was just not in a state 2 or 3 days after this event of my son's loss, to do the meditation. And she did the meditation, and I sat there and kind of closed my eyes, and I didn't fall asleep, but I found myself just sort of quietly sitting there. And all of a sudden, I saw my son's face show up in front of me as clear as can be. It was the clearest image I think I've ever seen in my entire life. His face, he was wearing his helmet, I could see him from the chest up. And it startled me, not enough to take me out of the meditation, but startled me. So telepathically, and we'd had several of these conversations in the few weeks after his death, telepathically I said, what are you doing here? And why are you smiling? And then I saw come out of his chest a round-ish red heart. Just the reddest heart, like the Sacred Heart you see sometimes in Catholic iconography. Floated out of his chest and toward me, and telepathically I said, what is this? What are you doing? And he reached up in this image, and he took hold of this heart, and he pushed it into my chest. And it absorbed like water into a sponge, and I looked down in confusion, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said telepathically, "Dad, one of the purposes of my death is to give you a bigger heart. Without the grief you're going through, you cannot have the kind of compassion you need to have to help people who are in a state of trauma." That was so shocking that I gasped and I opened my eyes and I said, what in the world was that? And part of what it taught me or showed me was that my son was in another state, another place, and he had more wisdom than I did at that moment. So these birth pangs can take us out of this life and be fulfilled. Even death is a kind of delivery, according to what Paul is saying in this worldview. One more story, very quickly, as it relates to my son and this topic. About 3 weeks later, I was still in a state of grief, on my knees beside the bed, praying, and weeping, actually. And in the middle of the weeping and the praying, there was something that appeared peripherally in my vision, and I could see something moving. And it was annoying me because it was like, I'm trying to pray. I'm trying to weep right now. Stop it. But it stayed there, and it kept moving. And it looked kind of like a flag that was flapping, and the flag would turn from one side and then back to the other side. So I could see it moving to two different sides. And I said, "Stop, let me grieve." And then I heard the same voice telepathically from my son, and he said, "Look up." And in my mind's eye, I looked up at the flag, and it wasn't a flag, it was a tapestry. And it moved from one side to the other, and on one side, I don't remember the image, but it was crystal clear, like all tapestries, where you have the side that is so clear, all the colors, all the forms, and then when it turns around, what do you see? The knotted side, the strings hanging out. It's like, what is that? And I watched it and I said, why? What does this mean? And he said, "Dad, you can only see the knotted side from where you're at right now." He said, "But there's another side that makes perfect sense." That's what's being said in this passage. We are living in a world where much of what we see looks like the knotted side of a tapestry. Does that make sense? It's like I can't really make out what it means. It's just traumatic. It's just difficult. But on the other side, there is an image waiting to be born. Let me finish what Paul says, then I'll be done. He said, "We are enlarged in the waiting." We, of course, don't see what is enlarging us, but the longer we wait, the larger we become, and the more joyful our expectancy. Paul goes on, "Meanwhile, the moment we get tired in the waiting, and we all do, God's Spirit is right alongside helping us along. If we don't know how or what to pray, it doesn't matter. Do you ever feel like that? I don't even know what to say in this situation. He, Spirit, does our praying in and for us, making prayer out of our wordless sighs, our aching groans. He providentially knows us far better than we know ourselves. He knows our pregnant situation and keeps us present before God. That's why, and this is that very famous verse, we know that all things work together for the good to those who love God. That's my talk. Henry Bergson suggests that the function of this world is a machine, or I call it a womb, that is making gods. And every single event that takes place in our lives is part of that God-making process. Now, am I going to say we have to believe that? No, because even if we don't believe it, I believe that's part of the process. Let's just take a moment as we close, do a little meditation here, if you would, with me. kind of take a breath, relax. Another breath. And if you've come here this morning holding on to something that is traumatic, whether it's small trauma or large trauma, it's my prayer in this meditation that we can, if we need to, realign our perspective and in faith, in hope, entertain the possibility that all things are working together to eventually give birth to that divine manifestation that is just part of the way it works. Whether it's in this life or the next or another, whatever your views of the afterlife, the function of the universe is to bring us into that perfect, matured divinity. And if you find yourself having questions or doubts even about this, if you want to join us at the table later for a few minutes of conversation, please feel free to drop in and hear a dialogue on this topic. So I invite you to take another deep breath. Let it out. And so it is. Blessings on you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Bogar. As we prepare to give, we remember that every gift we share is an act of love, a way of saying yes to the work of the Spirit here at Unity and in the world. Your generosity helps us create a place of belonging, peace, and transformation for all who enter. We invite you to give from the heart, knowing that as you give, you also receive. For in God's economy, love always multiplies. If you are in our Givers Circle and you give automatically or electronically and you would like to bless the offering with a blue stone, you can raise your hand. If the ushers could please come forward.
All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. In sweet surrender, in sweet surrender. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. In sweet surrender, in sweet surrender. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. All that I am, I offer at the altar of love. In sweet surrender, sweet surrender. All that I am, I
now it's time for invitations. So our annual meeting is next week, Sunday, October 19th at 12:30 in this room after service. We will be electing 2 new board members and discussing important community information for our upcoming year at Unity in Lynnwood. If you are a UIL member, you should have received an email containing proposed changes to UIL bylaws that will need to be voted on during the meeting. If you didn't receive this email, or if you'd like a paper copy of the proposed revisions, please contact administration. Next, our amazing UIL teens are hosting Haunted Hallowfest, as was mentioned earlier, on Tuesday, October 28th, a night of costumes, candy, games, and a haunted house. Trick-or-treating starts 6 and goes till 7, and the haunted house is 7 to 9. Plus baked goods, cider, and cocoa. Donations are gratefully accepted, not required. All proceeds benefit our youth program. Come and support our youth and enjoy a fun evening with the whole community. And we have ministerial candidate weekends coming up, and there's an update to this. If you haven't heard already, we want to share that our originally scheduled candidate, Reverend Abigail Scherer, has accepted another position. We send her our heartfelt congratulations and best wishes on her new journey. But we do have the 2 dates coming up: Angie Keys, November 1st and 2nd, and Elizabeth Nachman, November 8th and 9th. So this is a meaningful season at Unity in Lynnwood as we're welcoming these candidates. And these special weekends will include workshops, Sunday services, and opportunities to connect personally with each candidate. All sessions will be recorded for those who are unable to attend in person, and we look forward to sharing this sacred time together as a community. So now I'd like to have Jennifer come back for a gala announcement.
So next weekend is a busy weekend. In addition to our annual meeting, we have our annual fundraising gala on Saturday night. And because we are rolling with the flow here with our ministerial candidates, with our Sunday service, there have been a few changes to this as well that I wanted to let everyone know about. So we did not sell quite the number of tickets this year that we had anticipated and that we needed in order to have the catering done, which is the main expense of the gala. So we have revamped the plan, and we're still going to have a delicious dinner, fabulous appetizers, and great desserts as part of your ticket. It's going to be a super fun night. We've got line dancing. We're going to have a line dancing coach come in and teach us that. You get to wear your denim or your diamonds or both, whatever you want to do, and have a fantastic dinner and really connect with the community. And, you know, when I was thinking about this, I don't know if any of you have ever had Thanksgiving dinner at a restaurant. I have. I've done that. And it was good, you know, the food was good, and it was nice someone else cleaned up the pile of dishes afterwards. That was pretty cool. But it's nothing compared to those Thanksgiving dinners that you have at home, where everybody pitches in, where everybody's part of it, and where it's not just about sitting down and eating the dinner, it's about everything that leads up to the dinner and everything after the dinner, and it just builds that sense of love and community and family, and that is what we are really focusing on with our gala this year. So if you have not already bought a ticket, they're still on sale through Tuesday. That's when we kind of have to have the final information about how much food to prepare. So I encourage you to do that, because this is our family. This is our home. And we get to have a great party with our family and learn how to line dance, some of us. And that is optional. I would say, my husband's like, do I have to line dance? And I said, oh, I'm going to announce that on Sunday, that come to the gala so that you can see Kurt Larson line dance. Just saying. So anyway, it is going to be a blast. And we do need some help. With these changes, we need some more volunteers to step up. There is a sign-up sheet at the back. Some of the areas that we're going to need some help with: setup crew on Thursday. I believe the men's group has already agreed they're going to help with setup and with takedown, so that's fabulous. Thank you, men's group. We need people on the food team, and we are still working that piece out. But you know, we put on a fantastic spread every Sunday for actually a similar number of people, and so there's no question that we can do this, but we're going to need some hands to help that. We need a bartending team. We need people to make desserts and appetizers, or buy them at Costco. Yeah. And, you know, some other general help. So Stacy is going to keep this volunteer list. We need some team leads who can take some of the burden off of her to help with this. And so this is an all hands on deck, but in a really fun way that I think is going to just make for a tremendous evening and a tremendous week of all of us working together. So, so please plan on participating. Buy a ticket if you haven't. Swing by the Welcome and Information Station on your way out of the sanctuary to Reverend Bogar's table in Friendship Hall. And thank you for that amazing talk. That really was absolutely incredible. Appreciate that. So we will close with our unity statement of faith, which we'll say together: there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the infinite, living, loving presence of God. And isn't that really what we heard this morning? It is that pregnant creation waiting to happen in the two sides of the tapestry, but it is always a perfect outcoming and one presence in the universe. I'd also like to honor our prayer chaplains who are here for you. If you would like prayer after the service, would our prayer chaplains for today please stand up and wave? Great. We've got Marge and Chris. Thank you. So they'll be up here somewhere in the front of the sanctuary if you want to come find them for prayer. If you're online and would like prayer, please send an email to that address on your screen, prayer@unityinlynnwood.org. Leave your phone number and somebody will give you a call within the next 24 hours to hold you in prayer. We are really honored to do that. So with that, we will close with our benediction song.
Yeah. We're going to do our peace song. If you know it, please sing along. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth as it was meant